Hey guys, what is up? Ray Mage here doing another World of Tanks 360 gameplay commentary. Today guys, this is a standard battle on Live Oaks. Coming back from my little break from World of Tanks, was playing Destiny. Recommend, if you're looking for a game to play, just, either take a break from this game or you're looking for something good to play, I recommend that game. Destiny is pretty good. It's different, fun, entertaining. You just got to give it a shot. It's a very fun game. Be forewarned though, if you go into the Crucible, it's pretty much auto rifles or get the fuck out. I mean, some of the scout rifles and hand cannons and pulse rifles can hold their own, but it's an auto rifle kind of game mode. Anyways, now that's out of the way. Let's go back into some tanks. Today, guys, I want to talk about something that you haven't. I don't know. You see it talked about a lot if you're on the World of Tanks 360 forums. And that's stats, and I have a completely different take when it comes to stats. I have a completely different attitude than some people. I really don't give a fuck about them. I mean, I'll admit I check them. I'll admit I'll look at them on occasion, but they really don't matter, and they usually don't affect me when I play. I don't play. I feel like sometimes, when people care about stats, you start to play for your numbers. You're playing for your stats. You're playing to maintain something, and you're not playing the game. You're not playing in the spirit and the sport of the game as it is. You're not trying to contribute. You're trying to contribute not to the team, but you're trying to contribute for your own gain here. And I think that's sometimes the point. I guess that's one way to look at WN8, WN7, and EFF for the efficiency rating. It makes you kind of put everything in context. Because the one thing I've always had a problem with, when you're talking about stats, you don't ever see, does this person play alone? Does this person play in platoons? Do they play in groups? And I have played against guys from the forums. I have played against, random people where I've encountered them solo, and I don't think they're all that good. They might do enough, but you don't think they're as good. But when you run into that same person and they're in a platoon, it's like they elevate their game completely. I seem to be the complete opposite. I mean, I've seen some guys I think are like that also, where, I do play well with other players. I actually had a sub yesterday. I think it was actually before this match, before I recorded this match. Asked me if I wanted to platoon up, and it was just one of those days where I just felt like I couldn't play up to my own skill level. I felt like I couldn't play up to par, and I felt like I was going to let that person down by platooning up with them. It's like I'm bad luck when somebody platoons with me. But when I'm playing alone, you'll see in this particular match, it's like I completely I play to a different level. I have a friend I play with, and he every time he platoons with me, he does outstanding, and it's because some players just elevate their game. They play on a completely different level, and also some players just straight up can play a particular vehicle class better than others. Me, I'm kind of nervous, but I'm thinking about going into heavy tanks or tank destroyers. I haven't made up my mind which one I'm going to go into, but I mean, I have never played a heavy tank or a tank destroyer before, so I'm pretty sure I'm not going to do well. But I can play a medium tank because, I've played games where flanking is very important. Gears of War comes to mind, and that is very important in that game. It's always been important. And that's why when I got into medium tanks, it didn't take me long to grasp how to play those tanks. It didn't take long to understand how you're going to, operate and put yourself in the best position to help your team out. The other thing you don't see or take into account is some people, when you look at the stats, it doesn't tell you a complete story. And a thing I've noticed, I'm just going by memory here, but I know my beta numbers, my beta stats, now all of that's been wiped away, but I'm pretty sure my beta numbers, going by example or by memory here, I'm sorry, I know they were pretty pedestrian. I mean, you compare my numbers to what they are now and what they were in the beta, they're my beta numbers are pedestrian. Now you look at my actual game numbers now, they look great. They look outstanding. There are people with way better numbers and stats, obviously, but that just gives you a comparison with me. So the stats are not measuring experience, because when I first went into the beta, it took me a while to get the grasp to understand how to play the game. It doesn't measure your learning curve. I have played with guys that probably have very pedestrian numbers, just going by example. But I know they're capable now, and that's because I played against those same players that were just starting out. They didn't play in the beta; they were learning in the real game, and they eventually got better. And it's going to be tough to get past their average numbers from early on. They're kind of cursed, because their early numbers doomed their stats. But if they had to start all over, I guarantee you that same player would have similar numbers to me. That's how I feel when you look at numbers, when you're looking at stats. Because I guarantee you, if you matched my beta numbers with my current stats, I probably would have more down-to-earth stats. You would see I'm a good player, I'm capable. But I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the best. I know I'm not. I know for a fact I'm not. Because I'm using this gameplay as an example. A few matches earlier, I was getting my butt kicked. I felt like I wasn't doing anything right. And that's just something you have to take into account. You're also going to have these freakish games where a player, for whatever reason, they get into a zone. They just start whipping ass. They start dealing out damage. They start hurting other players in large numbers. They start dishing out damage. That's something I don't think stats and numbers account for. And I have, using Gears of War as an example also, I've played against guys that will get 40, 50 kills in a match, in King of the Hill, for example. That's something numbers don't account for. That's something stats don't account for, whether somebody is just doing that well. And there's a combination of things that happen. WN8, WN7, they don't measure luck. They don't measure, if a player's strategy. Are they picking on lower tier tanks? Are they picking on, players that may not be as skilled as the higher skilled players? Sometimes what I will do is I will sometimes look at the tanks that are that good, like a T-95, for example. I know they're dangerous, but if I start taking out their support, I start taking out everybody that's backing them up, it's just a slow-moving turtle that you can circle. I've always felt the same with E-100s and Yak Panzer E-100s. They're deadly tanks. They're deadly vehicles. But when you take out their support, they're a joke. They're nothing. This 183, this player here, he had a very good game. He actually had the most damage in the match. But they're not, those tank destroyers, in particular like a 183, they're not very scary when you take out their support. You take out their health. I didn't realize how well he was doing until actually the end of the match, but that's just an example. That's how I play. When I encounter, something this deadly, I take out their support, and that accounts for maybe some of my stats. I know what vehicles are good at. I know this tank destroyer, it's deadly when it's loaded, and you can see right here, I'm not too eager to get in front of that gun. But I know when he has fired and I start taking out his support, he ain't nothing. You can deal with it. That's something I don't think stats, account for. They don't tell the full story. They always tell you a little bit. It's a snapshot in that particular point in time. Alright guys, this gameplay is coming to an end. Sorry if I rambled a little bit. 7-1 review. I got the damn thing upgraded. I just don't have the final upgrade yet. I got the 20-pounder Type B. I'm working my way to the final package, so be patient. Hopefully by next week I'll have it. Anyways, guys, catch you guys later. Peace out.